It's called the Hoot, and it's the ultimate underwater superweapon. It's a rocket torpedo that travels underwater like a bullet to slice through enemy warships and submarines. Now, the Hoot is Persian for whale, and Iran is only the second country in the world after Russia to induct a high-speed underwater torpedo. But could Iran use it to sink a US aircraft carrier? This weapon was first tested publicly in around 2006, and it's claimed by Iranian sources to be one of the fastest underwater weapons in the world. Now, conventional torpedoes are like underwater guided missiles. They are steered to their targets and they explode. They have a speed of between 60 to 100 kilometers per hour. But Iranian sources claim that their super torpedo, the Hoot, could reach a speed of over 360 kilometers per hour underwater. How is this possible? Well, in the 1970s, Soviet scientists came up with a solid-fueled rocket motor in a torpedo which creates a gas bubble around the torpedo to drastically reduce water drag and enable very high speeds. Now, this is called a supercavitation torpedo, and the Hoot is believed to be a version of the Russian VA-111 Shkval supercavitating rocket torpedo. Now, the only problem with a torpedo of this nature is that its high speed burns fuel extremely fast. So this brute speed comes at a cost of range. The Shkval and its Iranian copy, the Hoot, have a range of only around 15 kilometers. Conventional torpedoes have twice the range of 30 kilometers. Now, conventional torpedoes are guided by a homing head or wire guided remotely by the firing platform. And the problem with supercavitating torpedoes is that they are notoriously difficult to guide accurately because of speed, noise, and bubble interference with the sonar. So could this torpedo theoretically sink a US aircraft carrier? Well, in realistic operational scenarios, no. The Hoot has a high explosive warhead of over 200 kgs, like most conventional torpedoes. It is designed for direct impact on surface ships or submarines. It can be fired from submarines, surface vessels, or speedboats. Now, the thing is that the carriers like this, the USS Abraham Lincoln that's currently deployed in the North Arabian Sea near Iran, have extensive compartmentalization. They have heavy armor belts in key areas, double and triple hull sections in vulnerable spots, and massive reserve buoyancy. Now, modern carriers like this are built to survive multiple hits from heavy torpedoes or missiles. A single underwater explosion might cause flooding, shock damage, or propulsion issues, but sinking a carrier typically requires repeated multiple hits of torpedo strikes. Now, supercarriers operate with layered defenses. They are surrounded by destroyers, cruisers, submarines, helicopters, and fixed-wing aircraft. They form what is known as a carrier strike group screen, and this screen extends for hundreds of miles. Now, Iran has numerous delivery platforms like small submarines, speedboats, which would need to penetrate this screen of the US carrier strike group undetected. They have to really come in close. They have to cross the paths of US anti-submarine warfare platforms, sonar, torpedoes, depth charges dropped by helicopters. And chances are that these small platforms would be detected and destroyed long before they reach firing range. Now, the Hoot travels so fast that it virtually has no real-time terminal guidance. It's essentially a fire and forget straight runner at extreme speed. Now, a maneuvering carrier like a US supercarrier travels at very high speeds of over 20 to 30 knots. They can evade a predictable incoming path of a torpedo. Now, the short range would mean that the Iranians would have to come in really close to the platform that they intend to strike or sink. Now, this is tactically suicidal against a carrier strike group in open water. It's extremely difficult for the firing platform to come close in to a US carrier strike group to launch that shot. Now, in confined waters like the Straits of Hormuz, Iran could attempt saturation attacks or ambushes, but US carriers typically avoid such high-risk choke points in war times. They operate from standoff distances like the Arabian Sea, around the coast of Oman here, for instance. They use their air powers, missiles, and submarines to neutralize their threats first. There's no way they would move into a narrow ambush spot like this one. So Iran has practiced mock attacks on carrier-shaped targets with various weapons, including torpedoes, in exercises. And there's plenty of claims by Iranian state media that they claim dramatic effects on this. But these are propaganda demonstrations against stationary or slow-moving replicas, not realistic exercises against a defended moving supercarrier. Now, if the Hoot miraculously hit a US carrier, it could cause some damage. This would be called a mission kill, where the carrier reduces speed and hence becomes unable to launch or recover aircraft. But that would be a 1 in a million shot. So the bottom line is that the Hoot is a real fast weapon that poses a threat in close range scenarios against smaller warships, merchant ships, or in literal ambushes like in the Persian Gulf or in the Straits of Hormuz. But in the open seas where US carriers operate, it has very little chance of success.